Welcome to the solo Final Fantasy XIV challenge. This is solo only, and from the very beginning, we have clawed our way past some of the most difficult fights this game can offer, all while never using the market board, parties, or NPC support, and using level sync or silence echo whenever it's possible. Again and again, I've been told this was impossible, but no matter how hard it got, we've always prevailed. And now, standing on the other side of the impossible trial, Susano, it's time to move forward towards our final goal, Endwalker. Maybe something stops us before then, brings this whole thing crashing down, but until we see that with our own hands, we continue down this long, winding road to whatever impossible wall comes next. The first dungeon of Shadowbringers is down and has surpassed all expectations. Even here, we can still clear content on level sync. Maybe this expansion wouldn't be so bad after all. Before continuing onward, there's one more goal I've had in mind for a long time. Solo's final title, an upgrade to the Lonely Explorer, Lone Hero, which we can only get for completing floors 1 to 100 in Heaven on High in a single run. We spent plenty of time in there for leveling, so the most basic requirement of maxed out Aetherpool gear is already met. In fact, 2 of the requirements are met already. You need to complete a run starting from floor 1. A long time ago, I had a Gunbreaker run with just that, and we got lucky enough to get an Odin Magicite. Magicite, if you don't know, is an item that allows you to summon a primal, killing every enemy on the floor. But the Odin Magicites are special. Not only will they kill every enemy on the floor, they can also instantly kill bosses. This was an incredibly rare and powerful item that most won't even see on a run, so I've been saving this exact save file for my title attempt. It's been sitting here for months, until I was finally ready to get my clear. But also, I feel very bad about doing things like throne and stuff. There goes my internet. Is my internet fully out? No, that was just a blip. Great. I'll take a little blip. That's fine. Wow. That's infuriating. Okay. I can't believe that's how I end the run. I cannot believe that's how the run ends. I've been sitting on that run for basically half a year. And I didn't even make it 10 floors because the 14 servers went out. Chat, have you ever just stress eaten an entire buttered baguette before? Because I think that's what I'm gonna do. Oh, okay. After waiting things out a bit on my main, the servers recovered, and we can start again from the beginning. Farewell, Odin Run. At the very least, it lets us walk through all of this from square one. Honestly though, outside of some greedy behavior... Aww, 1 second left? Come on. The first 30 floors are quick and easy. Most of the enemies don't hurt much, and the bosses are simple until floor 30. Hiriko summons clouds around the arena and knocks you into the air with Shiko. Standing under a cloud when you're flung upwards will destroy it, creating a safe space from their burst of lightning. Then the rest is just dodging. Fun fact, you can flex on the boss if you just do this. Okay, well, that sucks. Alright, I've had enough Heaven on High for today. At floor 31, things start to pick up a bit and get more dangerous. There are 2 enemies on this floor set that use a self-destruct after getting to low health, and if they're allowed to cast it, will be dropped to the brink of death. The boss, Bhima, is easy though, just knockbacks. Floors 41 to 50 bring with it a giant laser beam and worms. At some point, if you don't kill them fast enough, the worms will just decide it's time for you to die. You can technically survive it if you're a tank and are prepared for it, but most classes will die instantly. Gozu is the same as the final boss from the drowned city of Scala, showing with arm placement what attacks it's going to do, plus a gaze mechanic that confuses you if you're hit by it, making you attack a party member or stand in place if there are none. Followed by a proximity AoE on the boss, so instant death if you're ever stuck in place there. Heaven on High really likes to kill you in one hit if you mess up a mechanic, so you're gonna have to get used to me saying that. 51 to 60 has nothing particularly dangerous, and maybe it's just me, but I take it as a nice break in the middle of the run. Suikazure is just as easy as her floor set with a lot of AoEs to dodge. Alright, very nice. Okay, I now have a run that is back where we lost it last time. 61 to 70 is the start of some new difficulty. We have to start picking and choosing our battles, with anything more than 2 enemies at once being a near-death sentence, especially with the high-hitting dots and poisons. And the floor 70 boss is just like Cerberus in the World of Darkness. Puddles are dropped, allowing me to become small and dodge his instant kill attack, Hound Out of Hell. Farewell, big doggy. And that is the floor set I failed on before completed. Thank you very much for not DDoSing me this time, video game. Alright, this is the scary one now. Mobs here start to really hurt. Kite well, keep sustain potions up all the time, and be very wary of patrols. You will insta-die before having any time to do anything if you accidentally pull a second mob, for the most part, speaking from experience. Floor 71, we've entered the final gauntlet. Every enemy is a threat, aside from the Jujishi. Jujishi are the first normal enemies to be rated as a max danger level from Meiki's Guide, with their own miniature Enrage, Winds of Winter. It is a massive AoE as big as an entire room, and getting hit by it is a guaranteed death. But just in case you don't die to it, it buffs the Jujishi afterwards. And this floor set is the last time we can get a Pomander of Raising. What I've got is the end of it. They don't appear on floor 81 or above, and so we'll have to reach the end on whatever we have left. Starting the floor 80 boss, we end up with 2 Raisings for the final sets. Ice orbs spawn around the arena, bursting when they're hit with a flying icicle or from Lunar Cry, and deep freezing anything near them. If you're frozen, the boss will instantly kill you. It's another easy dodging boss. That is, of course, if you're paying enough attention. What happened? No way, dude. I have raising. Thank the 12. Alright, what happened? Orb? Where was the orb? Looking closer, you can just barely see the ice orb the boss stood on top of, peeking out every once in a while as it moves. If it hadn't been for that raising Pomander, we'd have lost it all right there. No more mistakes, we're on to floor 81. After that death, I was really not feeling good about it, but there we go. Alrighty. I'm gonna exit for a little bit. We're holding all of our hope for, you know? There are many dozens of rewards that I could get from this Platinum Halo set. But there is only one that I care about. Only thing I want is the dodo. If I get a dodo, it's all worth it, even if I lose. Please! Please! You couldn't have given me like any of the cool things from it, like you just have to give me double materia. Our list of easily killable enemies grows thin as time becomes our biggest factor. But as if to apologize for what happened earlier, heaven on high grants us a mercy. Please. Yeah! No way! You're joking! Oh my god, I'm sighting. I am fortuning, and I got my Odin back, baby! Let's go! All that time wasted watching the floor 90 boss guide. No, that time wasted was actually perfect, because it got us to the perfect cycle. I was actually doing a speedrun skip there. Now we're given a much bigger safety net of time. The boss would die as soon as we got there. Welcome to the Elder Magicite. Thank you! With 7 minutes remaining and Onra down, we're on the last stretch. That floor set took a lot. Some of my most important Pomanders, like Serenities, which can cleanse the debuffs a floor can randomly give, were gone. And again, time is our biggest factor now. I wasn't going to be able to kill enemies fast enough to get through to the end normally. We needed to rely on wipes. Pomanders like Petrification or Magicites that allow us to instantly kill the enemies on the floor and rush past it. But I only had 3 of those. Wow! 3 stars! What the heck is this? If you're gonna give me 3 stars, give me the dodo! What the heck is the clay? What is that supposed to be? I don't want a jar of dirt! Centaur never. Kubinashi never. Dodo never. Axe Nupepo never. Either way, it would be enough. I just needed to get lucky. 7 hours into the run, the first time I've ever reached floor 91, it's time to get my title. That's it. It killed me through Super Bullet. I didn't even get one floor. Or not. Okay. Well, that was pretty epic chungus. One day I'll be back. But for now, we have some MSQ to do. Let's go make some progress, shall we? We're 2 for 2 on duty, failing 1 floor away together. Oh, fantastic, Aurora. Can you do me a favor and fail on 99 next time? So that I could make it to 100? That'd be very appreciated. A quick visit to my house to make sure we don't lose it to auto-demolition, and stopping in for a fight with Grandpa, we take our first steps into Ilmeg. Shaming ourselves with a Say Chat quest, the next dungeon, Dawnmeg, is unlocked. We enter level synced, hoping this would go just as well as Holminster's Switch. The Dawnfast Floth come with a wonderful little mechanic where they buff one of the enemies near them. The cast is interruptible, and the buffs are very dangerous, so with every new pull of enemies, I get to fling myself at a frog. A quick skip through the flower fields later, we're at the first boss, Ankthon. Lance Blood is a weak AoE that summons puddles around the arena. One hit brings the puddles to the surface, the next makes them bubble up, and on the third, a geyser will burst from below them, knocking up anyone nearby. Candy Cane is a tank buster, dealing 12,000 damage, and Laughing Leap brings the boss back to the center of the arena for another Lance Blood. Afterwards though, rather than just hitting the middle, Laughing Leap turns into a party stack, hitting us for another 12,000 damage. For this dungeon, we're level synced to 74, meaning that our best healing comes from Chaotic Cyclone. It does less damage than Fell Cleave, but if I use it with Raw Intuition, it guarantees we get a critical heal, and when we're dealing with attacks this close together, it can make the difference and just barely keep us alive. That's the entire boss fight, but just because it only has a few mechanics doesn't mean this was quick. 14 minutes are taken off our dungeon timer on this boss alone. Lord of the Lingering Gaze, more like Lord of the Lingering Boss Fight. Yeah, okay, moving on. I have 90 minutes to get through a dungeon before I'm kicked out and forced to restart. 3 bosses, 12 sets of normal enemies between them, and the final boss normally taking at least 20 minutes. Anything longer than 30 minutes to get to and beat Ankthon meant we're on the back foot and need to start trying to make time back. One swarm of bees later, we reach the second boss, Griaule Tree. To get ourselves back on track, we need to have the tree down in 13 minutes. Fodder spawns 2 painted saplings around the arena, each tethering to the boss. Blocking a tether will, once it resolves, give you a buff, making your character taller and increasing your damage and health. But with one more tether than I can block, the boss also gains this buff. Twinge is a conal AoE, a quick and easy dodge. Timber does 3600 damage to everyone in the arena, and Coiling Ivy spawns a plant to lock us in place. A huge boon, as it gives a second target to attack and heal off of with Chaotic Cyclone. Those are all the tree's mechanics, but there's one problem. The growth buff we gain from fodder reaches its maximum when I get hit by it twice. But for the boss, it keeps going past that. Higher and higher, until at 5 stacks, this boss had an Enrage. In fact, we were lucky with how the Enrage worked. The boss is programmed to spawn exactly 1 more painted sapling than there are players in the dungeon. In a worst case, if they had just built this to be based on a party, there would be 5 tethers every time. Our only saving grace is that we get the growth buff as well. That attempt hadn't made it far, but the buff increased our damage, speeding up the boss's death. Now, this was a race against time. I'd need to kill the tree before it reached 5 stacks, or figure out some way to survive afterwards. For now, with Ilmeg unlocked, we've got new opportunities for crafting some actual gear. Though it does come with one problem. Both my gatherers and crafters are too low level for Shadowbringers. So before we can start planning gear upgrades, I need to level up to actually see what's available. Gatherers are first. With Botanist only being 1 level away from the next tier of items, we grab a quick custom delivery and hit level 75. Somebody just said in Say Chat, it's the guy. And thankfully, we collected enough to level my miner as well.
I won't be collecting a bonus, but I will be collecting my bonus. I'll see you on the other side.
And that's all I can do this week, right? I don't get to do multiple, or do I get to do multiple since I can unlock? I've never got around to doing expert deliveries. Can someone explain to me what just happened in League terms? So right then I was the jungler and I went over and I killed my scuttle crab. that respawns once every week, and it gave me a big boost of experience and gold. You can do multiple customs per week? Okay, great! We're a bit short at level 74, but with Stormblood complete, we can unlock a new custom delivery NPC in Ralger's Reach and get even more experience. I only have 3 deliveries remaining.
So you know what that means, chat? I'm not gonna do the rest of these deliveries, because that way, every single week I spend 6 deliveries and get a level instead of it stopping at 3 in the middle every time and upsetting me.
For right now, my armorer is one of the only crafters that can make us on-level gear, so we do a bit of shopping around to see if an upgrade is even possible in our locations. Realistically, anything below Titan Bronze isn't an upgrade, and would end up being so insignificant that it's just a waste of time to go for.
Titan Bronze needs Titanium and Titan Copper, and Titan Copper. Hey, wait a second, I can make Titan Bronze. Okay, level 76 gear, 409, not bad.
So, we've got our first and only available target, Titan Bronze. And at the same time, we grab our hunt marks from the Crystarium and start earning sacks of nuts for our inevitable hunt gear upgrade.
Whoa, look at that, wait, hold on, what the heck? Who are you? A Zonyer skin map for me?
Absolutely gorgeous. 50% of the time, 100% of the time. Thank you very much, video game.
Don't mind me. Just a simple miner that is very deathly afraid of giant blue boats. I sure hope there's not a giant blue boat there when I turn around. That would be terrible. That would just be the worst thing that's ever happened to me. I'm so very glad that I don't have to see any giant blue boat. Oh, okay, thank goodness. I was worried there might have been a giant blue boat there for a sec.
I don't know what you're talking about. What giant blue boat? Chad, you're going crazy.
I don't see a blue boat anywhere. They're just not here. You'd think I would see, like, you're talking about this gigantic ship. It's just not there. I would know. I can see blue.
This is the, excuse me, giant boat. This is the greatest idea I have ever heard in my life.
D-I...
A giant blue boat!
Anyway. Now the map spells dig. Zonyer leather, hard silver, dexterity alcohol. What the heck are you talking about? Wait, I can't even make Titan Bronze stuff. What am I doing this for?
Titan Bronze was a bust, as the other materials weren't obtainable, but that's only for armorer. We still had accessories as a possible upgrade and a new weapon, but first we have to level again. This time through the crystalline mean, a mini version of custom deliveries that you can repeat forever for a nice boost of experience. Blacksmith first, as our main problem right now is killing the boss fast enough. A weapon upgrade is always the priority.
Gazelle hide? How do I get gazelle hide? If gazelle hide, how me go find?
One quick stop in at the gold saucer for an event reward.
This is the worst abomination I have ever created.
For all of my dear photosensitive viewers, please close your eyes. I will tell you when you can look again. This is your warning. Alright, for all of my dear photosensitive viewers, you may now look back. Blacksmith is level 74, and we get a glimpse at our Titan Bronze axe, once again out of reach. So, we go back into Don Meg, this time on Silence Echo instead of Level Sync. Access to our full suite of abilities will help our damage. From Primal Rend to Inner Chaos, we had a major spike in attack power.
I can't kill in time even on silence.
Even then, it wasn't enough. But we still had a chance. This wasn't a hardened raid. We could live it, just not for very long. With each auto attack dealing 24,000 damage, it would be a desperate race against time. This had gotten us much closer, but we were still far from our clear.
4, 3, 2, 1. No, okay. Bloodwetting there would have gotten me the crit heal AoEs, but oh man. No, dude, okay. 30k off a flat auto. I really need a lot more ready for healing there.
17.2%. With no craftable upgrades in range, we had but one choice left. I'd have to sell my nuts for a new weapon. Sacks of nuts can be earned from the Crystarium hunt board, and we had access to every level of the hunt from the very beginning. Rank 1 hunts were all enemies in areas we could reach, Lower Calusia, Amarang, and Lakeland, but would only give 3 nuts per. Rank 2 would give 4 nuts, and we could occasionally find them in areas we could reach, but the big payouts came from rank 3 hunts, each giving 15 nuts. These could be in any area in Shadowbringers, so we'd likely only get 1 to 2 targets every day.
Hold on, you wait just a minute. You're telling me I could trade my nuts to this lady and she'll give me a shield? I need to stop. I needed to be stopped. It can't keep going on. With how close we were getting, a weapon should hopefully be enough to clear, which would only take 140 nuts. Best case scenario, we get an elite hunt mark, a weekly B rank for 100 nuts, but we're not so lucky since we can't access Raktika just yet. Yeah, Mudman! Hello, Mudman! It's so good to see you. Look at his little face! Ah. A good few days of nut collection later, our shiny new Deep Shadow Axe is in our hands. Okay, we went with Iron Bill last time. What about a Vintage Bill this time? How about that? I don't have any Glamour Prisms. Alright, Vintage Bill. And we enter Don Meg one more time. No! Oh no! Okay, very nice. For all the celebration in the world, we're not done yet. There's one more boss that's waiting for us. Thankfully, we managed to get our clear with plenty of time left over. This should be enough of a safety net to die a few times while learning the mechanics. Now, yeah, I don't remember the rest of the dungeon. I hope it's doable. Good luck. Past the hordes of water elementals, that mischievous little frog from earlier returns to center stage as we begin our face-off against Ankthon once again. Crippling Blow is a tank buster, dealing 15,000 damage. Virtuistic Capriccio is a raid-wide bleed, dealing a total of 2,000 damage. Imp Choir is a gaze, forcing you to turn away, and Toad Choir cleaves a large area in front of the boss, turning anyone hit into a frog. Then, shortly after, Ankthon jumps to the north end of the arena and casts Funambulist's Fantasia, a knockback sending us to the south end of the arena and changing it, leaving only a twisted tightrope path to reach them. Falling from the path at any point respawns you at the south end with a brief stun. During this phase, Ankthon wields their Liar's Lyre, using it to cast Finale. If we don't make it over there and destroy the Lyre in time, we die to Finale's 10 million damage. This was a hard Enrage. Not worried at all. With the Lyre broken, we enter Phase 2. Jumping to the center, Ankthon casts Changeling's Fantasia, transforming themselves into the Shade of Fear. Corrosive Bile shoots stomach acid out in front of the aberration, and flailing tentacles crash down at each intercardinal direction. With that, they turn back into Ankthon and continue as before. All their attacks are the same, and we've entered the easiest phase. That is, until the very end, with one last Changeling's Fantasia. Here we go. Okay. There is something else. It really seemed like there wasn't gonna be anything. Oh, okay. No, my performance. He turns into a frog. Okay, well, see you later, Ankthon. And in just under an hour, Don Meg is complete. Another victory, another step in our journey, leading us slowly
but surely towards the first of the big 3 fights for Shadowbringers. The King of the Fae, Titania.